Okay, super excited to welcome Ada, CEO and founder at My Monthly, to the show. We're going to talk about her experience in user experience and design, as well as the new company that she has, and kind of the problems that they're solving and the trajectory that they're on for growth. Ada, why don't you give a little bit of a background into how you started as not only an entrepreneur, but also your career beforehand? We can start there.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Austin. I'm excited to share a little bit. This is actually my first ever podcast, so I'm happy to be sharing it here. I started my monthly, the first ever cycle tracker for couples in 2023, and that was just fresh off of graduating from my master's at Brown and RISD in design engineering. And prior to that, I worked in product management for fine arts and NFTs company. And that was really my first job out of college. And for college, I went to Parsons for industrial and product design. So really, I was in much more of a physical design space before going to my master's, pivoting to digital design because I know that's where the market was leaning towards. And also because it was also COVID, I wasn't sure how much or how I could actually get a job in physical design when everybody was remote and at home. So that really helped that part. And as for why I started my monthly, personal experience with my relationship, I saw that maybe men especially could use a little bit of help, have a little bit of a insider knowledge on how to be a better boyfriend and to support us, because I know they want to. It's just hard to relate when you don't experience the same things when it comes to menstrual cycles, mood swings, and all of that.
Interesting. So before we kind of dive into the product and problem you guys are solving, your experience with both physical product design and digital product design, how did that kind of shape you into building the product? Because of course, like it's one thing to have a problem you're trying to solve as an entrepreneur and then build a company around it, but you have a unique experience coming from like knowing all the fundamentals of product design and how to actually build a successful product before you built it. So how did that influence the company that you built today?
I don't know if this is generic or not, but from a physical standpoint, I focused a lot on furniture making. And for furniture making, ergonomics is a big factor we have to think about. Like, how comfortable is something? How comfortable is this desk for someone who's a little bit taller, shorter, etc., and just fitting that kind of target market. And we're trying to always design for the masses, right? If it's something that is like a chair, we want to make sure that it fits the 90th percentile. So if you're super heavy on the heavier side, it won't break. And for something like a children's sink, then we're trying to fit the 5th percentile. So as small as you are, you can still use the sink yourself. So with that, it might have made it a little bit easier for me to transition to a UX thinking, because ergonomics really is thinking about the user all the time. And for user experience, it's thinking about how the user approaches each feature, each button, finding statistics, finding things easy on the app. So I thought maybe that could have been easier with my background.
Yeah, totally. So kind of transitioning into my monthly, like tell me more about the problem. Because for people that aren't super aware, a lot of men obviously are not super invested in the problem initially if they're not with someone that's expressing some of those problems. Like, how did that problem come up? And in the market, obviously there wasn't a tool or a product or process that was solving the problem. So just expand upon that a little bit more.
Of course. I think when I first experienced this problem and I thought about it as a coursework, we had our first summer project in Teams at the design engineering program I was at. It's called MADE. So at MADE, our first project, this is what I pitched to my team. And it's really stemmed from my relationship with my boyfriend. And I thought that if he had this, maybe it would make it easier for him to understand what I'm going through without me trying to explain it with so many words. And with statistics backing it, it almost validates what I feel even more than just me telling him I don't feel so good. And I shared this with more and more people in my class. And the more I shared it, the more I got positive feedback from girlfriends. And I thought this might be a target. My target market could be girls because they might be the ones that want their grow-up boyfriends to be a little bit more empathetic and want them to download the app. And that's what I thought initially. However, as I pitched the product a little bit further, thinking about my most unlikely of users, and that could be older gentlemen from maybe my father's generation, I would think that maybe this is something that they're completely, I don't know, I guess unhappy about, or they don't think that there's a need for in the market, that's something that they would not invest money in. And to my surprise, I was wrong. A lot of them were dating people maybe a little bit younger, and or they had daughters that were still going through their cycles, and they wish they had something like this that can make conversations a little less awkward, and they have a little bit more facts at their disposal to help with the conversations they might be having.
Okay, nice. So how important is it, like if you're a founder or a CEO and your job is to find product market fit, initially, sometimes the target market that you think is going to work, which is super logical from what you're explaining,
Yeah.
is sometimes the opposite. And it sounds like the way you kind of figured that out is actually just having real conversations with the people that would be users and then kind of pivoting quickly depending on those conversations.
I think as a startup founder, your biggest strength is that you're small. People think that that's a weakness, but that's actually a big advantage you have because nobody knows you. You could pivot 100 times before people actually get to know you. And that's great because staying flexible is one of the most important assets you should have as a founder. It's having a really clear goal. So, our goal is to provide more empathetic conversations in relationships, whatever kind of relationships that could be. It could be father daughter, it could be between friends, it could be between you and your husband. And for us, that's our end goal. However, how we get there is completely flexible. So that's completely up to our target users or whomever our users could be telling us. So if eventually it becomes more of a pre and postnatal app, that's great too. I'm happy to facilitate as much as possible.
Okay, nice. Couple questions on like the actual growth of the company. So where are you guys at in terms of users and like how many people are using the platform, the trajectory for launching it out to a broader market?
Yes. As of right now, we are at 700 users, that is monthly active users. And for us, that is not a small number because we've actually spent $0 marketing. Um, Thank you. With that, our main focus is on social media marketing. For a lot of founders in this space right now, I think social media marketing is supposed to be the best return on investment when it comes to finding your target market fit. And for us, we kind of bracket the zillennial market. So it's women and their partners from the age of 20 to the age of 32. And with that, social media marketing is our best bet, and we're launching campaigns after campaigns to promote our product.
Okay, nice. So just all organic content. What channels have been the best for you so far?
I would say it's in between TikTok and Instagram. Because we're fully free right now. So we're trying to attract users to give us feedback. We're free, no in-app purchases at all. And that was a conscious choice to receive organic feedback. Because the more expensive an app is, or the more you rush into making a revenue, it could actually hurt you down the line because people are scared to start using you if they've not heard of you. And with our platform being completely free, TikTok has actually given us a lot of good feedback. So I might post TikToks on my own channel just about the product, and I would get comments with feedback about the actual app, and it's been pretty helpful.
It's pretty good. And how are you guys kind of translating product feedback? Because obviously one of the downfalls of some apps and some companies is like taking too much product feedback for things too quickly. So how much are you filtering out and how are you choosing the most important things to work on?
Most importantly, we focus on existing features. I know that it's easy, like you said, to branch out too much. So whenever a feedback says you should add another feature, you should add this other function, that could make it really difficult because it's taxing on your engineers and your designers. For us, if it's feedback that are tweaks on usability on existing features, we would take. If it's feedback on future iterations, then we would keep that in a backlog and we'll come to that when we have more time or if we're exploring new features.
Okay, understood. For the overall market that you're trying to kind of break into, how do you view your competitors? Because right, they might not be solving the exact same problem, but there are probably a lot of adjacent applications and
Absolutely.
companies that are working on similar things. So you don't have to call out the competitors, but how do you see the market overall and how you guys are kind of different from everyone else?
I think it's a great market right now. There's a lot more saturation than it used to be on the women's health industry, so FemTech in general. And I think that's great. I think there should be way more research and way more funding in this area because it's growing and because we're all learning more about our bodies and because women are used more in statistics. Oh, sorry, my bad. Instead of in the past. And because of that, I actually am happy that there are competition. I know you said we don't have to call out, but one that is probably dominating the industry right now is Flow. And I think they're doing a really good job. I used to be a Flow user myself, and I know they're doing a good job. And a few others have popped up. I will shout them out. Stardust is also doing a great job. And with that, our biggest differentiator is really we focus more on relationship. And that can be relationship with yourself, it can be relationship with a partner. And the relationship aspect is helping with communication, like finding the right key terms, finding the right way to be okay with how you're feeling and having someone else understand how you're feeling. So we're very much on intrinsic thinking and a lot more of reflection than we are trying to be the best cycle tracker that there can't be other cycle trackers.
Yeah. And I suppose it makes the app much more sticky over time if you're kind of invoking more of an emotional relationship with the process of using the app, but also sharing the experience with a partner. For example, it's going to make the application more um, built into your daily routine.
That's actually one of our keywords that we use, sticky. We
Nice.
think about that a lot because I read the book on how to make products sticky. And a big part of it is just habit forming, which is why we have supporting features such as the daily quiz, where people can take the quiz, earn streaks with yourself or with a partner. So it brings them back to the app for more than just tracking your cycle.
Nice. So, of course, you're pre-revenue right now. What is the plan to get to revenue, and what targets do you kind of see based off of the 700 active users, but also your growth over social media? Like, what's the roadmap for revenue?
One thing that we're launching this summer is called, it's a campaign called Hot Boyfriend Summer. And not to be confused with HBS, Harvard Business School, but in short, we're also HBS. And we're trying to really set ourselves apart from cycle trackers all over the world. We're trying to target and have that like comedic effect on being the only app or the only cycle tracker that's for your boyfriend. And with that, we're hoping to expand our target user to, I want to say, 5% male users. Because right now, out of the 700, we are predominantly female user heavy. And it's only some of them, only 50% invites a partner. And of course, not everybody has a partner, but even out of those who put down that they're in a relationship, still only 65% would invite a partner because they're not sure how this affects their partner. So with the campaign, we're trying to invite more partner users on to the app. And the road after that is going to be able to maybe expand our app to more partnerships, including just ways for the partner to get involved. If it's having DoorDash or Uber Eats have a spot, because we also track cravings. And if the partner can do acts of service or show gift giving inside the app with affiliate links, that would be wonderful for us. And I think it's something that would be really unique feature as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like having that kind of built into the user experience.
Yeah.
Um, and where are you guys at in terms of investment, and what's your perspective on investment of how much you plan to take or how much you don't want to take and retain ownership over?
Right now, I own the company 90%, and then the 10% I retain for my core team. And with that, that's because I've not taken any outside funding. Pretty much fully bootstrapped. We act like we have a seed funding, but really we're bootstrapped. Uh, that's very conscious on my part, because inviting external investors, which we've gotten a lot of interest on, I'm very grateful for that. But inviting more outside investors could change how we operate, for one, and two, it could change the core message a little bit. Since we're so young, it's so important for us to stay focused and stay true to ourselves on our core messaging. And my team is wonderful. They've stayed with me for a really long time. The core message. And I'm worried that inviting investors could change that, and it could change team morale as well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely will. That's what a lot of people go through as they're raising money is the money is great, but it can sometimes feel like having a boss that you're responding to, and you have to do certain things in order to satisfy investors instead of staying true to the customer.
Right.
So that's interesting. What is the overall goal? I know you talked a little bit about in-app purchases and affiliate links and stuff, but what's the overall goal like in the next year or by the end of 2026 for where you want the business to be?
Over the next year, I want to be able to start our freemium tier. And that's something we've been working towards already. So most of our features, every core feature will stay free forever, but there will be additional small sub features that will become a premium package, such as maybe storing more storage or unlocking more specific designs when we give gift notes. That's something that we have. So it's almost like cards, e-cards, and designs on that. So small features that are nice to haves, but not must-haves. Those can become a premium feature depending on our users' wishes. That would be my core goal right now.
Okay. And then zooming out like long term, 3 to 5 years, where do you see the company and how do you see the market changing? I'm assuming you kind of want to be one of the leaders in the space. So what is that going to look like for you?
Our goal from day one was always to be the first app you download after you delete your dating app. So it's going to be the best app for couples to have. As long as somebody menstruates in the relationship, then this is the app to have. Even if both of you menstruate, that's great. We support that as well. And that would be our long-term goal. And I would say 3 to 5 years is a good time to get there.
Okay. Awesome. For anyone listening, whether they're a potential user or investor, or they're just an entrepreneur, like CEO, founder that's running a software company, an app company, technology company, why don't we start there with the entrepreneur? What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone listening on how to build an effective startup early on?
I think my best advice for a aspiring entrepreneur would to be find a problem first. So a problem that speaks to you would be the best place to start, because you're going to be working on this day in, day out. So you really have to live and breathe it, and you really have to believe in it. And I think having a cool product is great, but if it's not something you fully believe in and you fully think is going to solve something at the end of the day, you're not going to stay with it. Finding a problem that works for you, that actually you experience, is the best place to start.
Great. And then on the other side of it, for people listening that might be potential users in the future, where can they find out more? Where can they get on the app? What should they know about what you guys are doing?
My monthly is already available in every single country with an app store. So if you search for my monthly, it's going to be there, my space monthly. And please download, give us feedback, and you can give us feedback from any platform. We're all at my_monthly on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you can find us. You can give us feedback in any way, shape, or form, and we'll be happy to take them in.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing some insights for other entrepreneurs and CEOs and founders listening, and also for other people that might be potential users in the future.
Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.